So, about to start swapping in the 12 bolt axle instead of the 10 bolt here. This one was I believe it was stock. It's been gone through a couple times by different people, but basically it was a 10 bolt with a 336 gear ratio. At least that's what it has now. I mean, it's kind of a performance-ended, kind of halfway between the performance and the street, but now that I've put the 5-speed into the car, it's I think I can get away with the 373. So I'm gonna go. That's what the 12 bolts for. Basically, the first step, I got it up on the jack stands up on the frame there. Got the jack underneath, kind of just as a support right now. Took the wheels off and the air shocks already. But besides that, I'm gonna go about, I guess, disconnecting the 4-link. I'm gonna, I guess, do the drive shaft and the brake lines next before I get into anything with the suspension parts of it. But the goal is to get this one out just kind of quick and easy, hopefully without needing to take too much stuff off. And then I have the other one fully built and ready to go in, so hopefully I can just pull this one out, bolt the other one in. I have a conversion U-joint. I think that's the one I need for the drive shaft, so I should be able to just pull this one out and bolt in my 12 bolt and I'll be ready to go. Alright, so you can kind of see how I did this here. I still have the frame jacked up here and then a couple separate jacks on the lower control arms. Left the upper control arms just kind of sit there, but I was able to leave the air shocks on and everything. Just take all the bolts out. One spot I did have a problem was the pan-hard bar bolt. I didn't want to, or the bushing in here didn't want to come off the bolt, so that's kind of stuck. Come to find out the bushing is not in the best shape anyway, so I might just have to replace that. But besides that, it came out. I used a transmission jack actually. Had to put a little bit of quite the angle on here on to meet the angle of the differential here, so it didn't rock back. As I was trying to take that last bolt out, but once I got that kind of set and holding in place, everything came out. I am leaking all my brake fluid out onto the floor because I don't have a cap for it, so that'd be a good thing for you to grab before you start. But besides that, it's pretty simple. Just take the bolts out, and like I said, those jacks under those lower control arms so that your springs aren't gonna go crazy. It'll hold everything in the same spot. So I should be able to take my 12 bolt and just put it on this transmission jack, lift it up, and hopefully just bolt it in. Sorry about the background noise. The heater kicked on. It's still kind of cold out here in Iowa, but basically just using my transmission jack, got my new axle, my 12 bolt that I built, just kind of leveling the front of it with that, and I got it kind of lined up, and that right side lined up real quick, real easy. Now I'm working on the left side here, just trying to get that perfectly lined up. I haven't got the bolt in yet, but it looks pretty close, so it's just a matter of getting it lined up. I would think normally you'd want two people to do this, but by using a transmission jack here and just kind of balancing it right there in the middle, it's actually going surprisingly smooth, real simple. So I'm not complaining at all. This has been real quick and easy so far, which is what I was hoping for. So hopefully it keeps going this way. Okay, sorry again for the noise from the heater, but basically everything is tightening up real quick and easy. This is actually going really smooth. For me, the yoke on the front of my the axle here was actually the same as the size as the yoke on the 10 bolt. I preemptively bought that different sized yoke, and I didn't actually need it, so the U-joint. So I'm gonna have to, I'll get a return that, I guess. No big deal there, but that fit right up. I had all the brake lines set up right, so I'm gonna have to bleed the brakes now. I'll set up my parking brake. I didn't have that set up before, so you gotta do that. But besides that, everything's good to go. I actually have it all tightened down. I took the jack here, lifted up the rear differential so I could tighten up all the bushings again, because you want to be in what it would be like an operating position before you tighten down those rubber bushings so they don't get extra torque on them. But this is honestly the smoothest thing I've ever done on this car so far, so that's it's going pretty good for me. So I'm gonna throw the wheels on, bleed the brakes, and set up the parking brake, and then this is done. Okay, so as you see, I'm back on the ground, got the wheels on the car. Basically everything it's been going real smooth, like I said. I filled up the differential up with fluid, and what it calls for with that limited slip unit that I got, it wants a 80W 90 oil, and it also needs the limited slip additive. So before I even put the cover on, I added a quart of the 80-90 oil, and also it's a 4-ounce bottle of the limited slip additive. So I added that in right away. And now that I got this on the car, it was more than 1 quart. I don't think it was quite 2 more. So I just got a big 1-gallon container with the pump on it, but that's it's all going together real well. I just need to bleed the brakes, and then I'm gonna try it out and see how it goes. All right, I have the brakes blood now, and so I'm gonna try it out, see how it feels. Obviously my speedometer ratio is gonna be off, but we'll see how it works with the 373s now instead of the 336. So I'm on my first drive here. The rear end seems to be working. Brakes are working. I'm just gonna drive it back to the shop here and just kind of check and see how it all feels. I can't get the flash to turn off on my phone, so I feel dumb, but luckily I'm on a gravel road, so there's nobody here. Basically, it seems to be working. It really gets after it now. At least on the gravel road here, when I step on it, both wheels are spinning. You can see the mark that gets left behind, so that's a good sign. It seems to be working exactly how it should be. So I call this project done. So just gotta double check it, and should be good to go.